Trivia time! Name the song and artist that plays in the scene in Final Wars where Zilla gets his ass kicked. Welcome back to Thirsty Thursday Toys, where today we're going to be making a Syndey battle drink and checking out the two figures of the battle's big loser. For this drink, you'll need a lime, a bottle of Australian ginger beer, and a big ol' can of Australian beer. You can actually make 3 of these with a single bottle and can, but you'll need more limes. Let's start off with the Syndey Opera House lime garnish. Cut your limes in half. Set one half aside as you're going to juice it. For the other half, cut it in half again so you have 2 wedges. Cut one of those wedges so that one side is significantly larger than the other. Cut the other wedge with a less drastic difference between them, then organize them by size. Take that second smallest and set it facing away on the other side of the largest one, then skewer them all together. Ta-da! The Syndey Opera House! Now take that other lime half and juice it into a pint glass. Open up that ginger beer and pour in 4 ounces, should be about 1/3 of a bottle. Then crack open that massive beer and pour in 8 ounces, which should be about 1/3 of a can. Top that off with your Opera House and enjoy. Cheers! This set, as far as I'm aware, is the only official figure set that actually calls Zilla Zilla. Zilla was one of the only, if not the only, kaiju to not be represented in the Final Wars Mini Battle G sets, so that was rectified in this wave from 2005. To me, this figure looks less like what we see on screen in Final Wars and more like a scaled-down version of the Trendmaster's Ultimate Godzilla, both in terms of sculpt and color. On the back of the box here, we have some character stats and info about the Syndey battle itself. I appreciate how they created these figures to scale, with Zilla being only 90% of Godzilla's height. Speaking of scale, YMSF finally released their Final War Zilla figure in December of 2022. I think this one is a much closer match to the Zilla we see in Final Wars. Scale-wise though, I see a ton of photos of this one next to the Movie Monster series Final Goji, and they don't scale well at all to me. I found that it's a much better match with the Bandai Museum Final Goji. Part of this could be due to the posture. This figure has a much more vertical stance than what we saw on screen. The legs do rotate, but they angle in so you can't get it to stand right. YMSF originally planned to have a second tail that went straight out, but they scrapped it because they'd have to redo the head to be looking straight out as well. I hope they redo it in that pose someday. In the meantime, we have this one that sold for 7,000 yen and came out to about 90 bucks after shipping and conversion fees. They absolutely nailed the paint job. It's a great match for the on-screen version. However, as I've said in other videos, it's frustrating to me when I can tell that each piece of the figure was painted separately, and the one I received has this completely unpainted part on the tail. Normally, this would bug the shit out of me, but this could look like the variation in lighting during the Syndey scene, so I can justify it. The tail did need to be attached upon arrival, so maybe I can get another one and swap the tails around at some point. The last bits of articulation are the arms, which can rotate a full 360 even with those back spines, and a neat feature is that they have the smaller spines on the shoulders. Ironically, I think this figure might be too detailed. The on-screen Zilla seemed like the design was almost texture mapped onto the Zilla frame, so it had significantly less detail than the YMSF creation. I can definitely see them repainting this one as the 1998 Godzilla, and I hope they do because I have so many more drink ideas. In the meantime, I hope you can find either one of these for a decent price on the aftermarket. Thanks for watching, and please drink responsibly.